All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bladensburg Town Council meeting for Monday, May 13th. We are now called to order. At this time, we'll move into the opening prayer. Councilmember McBride, would you do the honors for us, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for everyone that's been allowed to assemble. For those that are on Zoom today and cannot be here, we thank you for blessing the town of Bladensburg. We thank you for keeping us safe, for blessing our officers, for blessing our mayor and our council and all of the residents in the town of Bladensburg. We ask that you continue to keep us, provide, and make ways for us. In your name we pray, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilmember McBride. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening again, everyone, and thank you for joining us either here in person or online. We'll continue on with tonight's agenda with item number 4, which is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any comments or questions? I'll just note that we did proceed without covering the ULI TAP and America in Bloom in the last meeting, just knowing that they were already on the agenda for tonight. So no modifications, but really just a point of order for the audience. And with that, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, we'll proceed with the approval of the Town Council meeting minutes for Monday, April 8th. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any comments or questions or edits to the minutes? I think when I was reading through, there's mostly like capitalization, things that I noticed, and Elizabeth Seaton was spelled S-E-A-T-O-N and it's S-E-T-O-N. And then there was a reference to Councilmember McBride, and Councilmember just needed to be capitalized. So I can give you these. It's not substantive, it's just grammatical. But would the council be okay approving it, again, with me just providing the typo clarifications to staff?
Yes.
All right. And so with that, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. The April 8th minutes are approved. And then the special town council meeting minutes noted here were actually our special council work session minutes, which we previously approved during today's work session. So we'll move past each of those and get right into the special presentations we have for first, Resolution 11-2024.
Would you like me to read that, Mayor? On the record. Sure, I got that. It is Resolution 11-2024, a resolution for the town of Bladensburg celebrating National Police Week, May 12th to May 18th, 2024, expressing gratitude to the Bladensburg Police Department. Whereas the town of Bladensburg recognized the importance of honoring the dedication and service and sacrifice of law enforcement across the nation with National Police Week. Whereas National Police Week provides an opportunity to express appreciation for the contributions of law enforcement officers to public safety and to honor those who have lost their lives on the line of duty. Whereas Chief Tyrone Collington has demonstrated exemplary leadership and dedication in his role as police chief of the town of Bladensburg, working tirelessly to ensure the safety and well-being of the residents. Whereas the Bladensburg Police Department, including the Patrol, Criminal Investigations Division, Special Assignments Team, K-9 Unit, and the Community Action Team, play a vital role in maintaining public safety and enhancing community relations through various programs. Now there be it resolved that the town of Bladensburg recognizes and celebrates National Police Week from May 12th through the 18th in honor of the service of those sacrifices for law enforcement officers. The town extends its sincere gratitude to Chief Tyrone Collington for his exemplary leadership and dedication to the commitment to the safety and well-being of the residents of Bladensburg. The town council also commends the Bladensburg Police Department members, including the Patrol, CID, Special Assignments Team, K-9 Unit, and Community Action Team for their outstanding service and contributions to the community. The town council also acknowledges the importance of various programs and initiatives implemented by the Bladensburg Police Department, particularly those aimed at youth engagement and fostering positive relationships between law enforcement and the community. And that the town council also encourages all residents to join in expressing appreciation for the town, to the chief and the members of the Bladensburg Police Department during this week of National Police Week and throughout the year. Be it resolved this 13th day of May 2024 and shall take effect upon adoption and passage.
Thank you, Town Administrator. So with that, is there a motion to approve Resolution number 11-2024?
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Brown. Any comments or questions regarding the resolution? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. The resolution passes. And I believe we have a special plaque that we want to present. So Major, if you would join me at the podium, please. All right, so the plaque reads as follows. Town of Bladensburg Mayor and Council presents the Certificate of Recognition in honor of National Police Week, May 12th through May 18th, 2024. We express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to the Bladensburg Police Department for their unwavering commitment to serving and protecting our community. Thank you for your dedication, sacrifice, and bravery in keeping Bladensburg safe. Your service is truly commendable and valued by our community. Thank you so
Mayor.
much.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of Chief Collington and Bladensburg Police Department, I'd like to express our sincere gratitude for this recognition. Thank you.
All right, thank you again for that. And so we'll continue on with the agenda with Resolution 12-2024 and turn it back over to our Town Administrator.
Sure, a resolution for the town of Bladensburg recognizing Public Works Week, May 19th to 25th, 2024. Whereas the town of Bladensburg recognizes the vital role of public works infrastructure and services play in enhancing the quality of life for its residents and ensuring the functioning of the community. Whereas the dedication and efforts of the public works professionals contribute significantly to safety, health, and well-being of our residents and maintaining and improving our infrastructure, including our roads, bridges, parks, and town facilities. And whereas the theme of Public Works Week in 2024 is Stronger Together, emphasizes the collaborative efforts of the public works professionals, government agencies, and communities to address challenges and promote sustainable solutions for our infrastructure needs. Whereas the town of, whereas Public Works Week provides an opportunity to educate about the importance of public works and services, to recognize the hard work and commitment of individuals who serve in these essential world. And whereas Public Works provides the opportunity for the town council to thank the hard work of Mr. Purnell Hall, the Public Works Supervisor, for his efforts in making this town a better place to live, work, and play. Now therefore it be resolved that the town will hereby recognize May 19th through the 25th as Public Works Week in recognition for the valuable contribution of the public works professionals in this community. The town council also encourages and recognizes that all residents should celebrate the Public Works Week and express their gratitude to public works employees for their dedication and service. The town council acknowledges the theme of Stronger Together and commits to supporting collaboration and innovation in addressing infrastructure needs of the town of Bladensburg. The town council also extends its appreciation to all public works employees that are here present and in general for the hard work and professionalism and commitment to maintaining and enhancing the infrastructure and the services that contribute to the well-being and prosperity of our community. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall hereby be adopted this 13th day of May, 2024, and shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Town Administrator. And with that, the reading of the resolution is there now a motion to approve Resolution 12-2024?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. And at this time, Mr. Hall, if you would please join me at the podium.
We're gonna have all everybody else join them. With everybody.
After I give it to him, then we can do Public Works and then. Oh, I see what you're
Yeah, have them all come out, yeah. I know.
Come on down. All right. And this reads as follows. Town of Bladensburg Mayor and Council presents the Certificate of Recognition in honor of National Public Works Week, May 19th through May 25th, 2024. We commend and appreciate your dedicated efforts in maintaining and enhancing our town's infrastructure and services. Your commitment to excellence and the well-being of our community is truly commendable. Thank you for your hard work, professionalism, and tireless service from the Town Council. Thank you. So, Town Administrator, can we get a group photo with the guys in the plaque and then do one with Chief Dickerson? I just didn't want to ask the group to get up twice. Yeah, so we'll start with you guys. Okay, this time can we say 1, 2, 3, Public Works? Okay. 1, 2, 3, Public Works! Yay! I just did a little bit. Oh, you want me? Oh, there's another phone. Oh, sorry for now. Chief right here, so somebody else. Okay, got it. Oh, got it myself. This just tells you how old I am, okay. 1, 2, 3. Public Works? Oh, you want to say okay, we can do the cheer. 1, 2, 3. Public Works! Hey. Okay. All right. And we've got next, wait until the 19th, there'll be all sorts of surprises.
Oh, we gotta come back again?
I just want to make sure that I did. I got you. Do we need some Windex? Are we okay? And still in the spirit of recognition, Mr. Hall, did you or the gentleman from Public Works want to say anything? If so, come on up. Pressure, no pressure. Mr. Watson, Gambino.
Yeah. Some chairs on. Look at you, you're on camera.
Once again, good afternoon, Mayor and Council, staff, and also residents and anybody at home watching the Zoom. My name is Pernell Hall. I've been with the town for 16 years, and very happy to be a part of the town of Bladensburg Public Works. And I want to introduce some of our new employees and also some of our senior employees that's been here with the town of Bladensburg. And I can't express enough how glad or how grateful I am to have such guys around me to help me pull these job tasks and get things completed in a timely fashion, and also being safe as while we're doing such jobs like this. We do experience some foul language while we're working, but our guys know what to do. We just don't lip lock and come back at anybody else. We just keep on doing what we're supposed to do. And I want to thank these guys so much for their hard, dedicated, everyday work, just coming. Some of them don't even live in town, but coming to treat this like they is their town. So I want to recognize a few. I would like to call them up if they want to say anything. Starting with Gambino Cardoza. Could you please come up?
Please come up. Please come forward. Please, just sit so the community can see. You don't have to say anything.
And next, Eric Watson. Mr. Ronald Austin Jr. Mr. Kelly. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Stand right there. Last one but least, I got a little word to say about this gentleman right here. He's been with us about, how long, Solomon? Going on about 2 months. And he's stepped up to the plate in any kind of way that you would want a new employee to come to you. Gratitude of what he likes to do, but he is also a resident in the town of Bladensburg. Come on up, Mr. Solomon. Yes, my father, he spoke out of turn a little bit, but I apologize. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. And he also been a resident for almost 30 years in the town of Bladensburg as well. 34, I'm sorry. Is there would any of y'all like anything to say?
I know Ron wants to say something.
Well, my name is Eric Watson, and I've been here since 2001. Start working for Public Work 2015. And but the funny thing is about it, I applied in 2010. That's when I know that they don't throw away application. They called me 2015, and I was grateful to be here, to be a part of the team. So thank you guys.
And just to keep up to what he's saying is, he started when?
2000.
We had his son before him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where you come from? Which one are you? Ron wanted to say
Awesome.
something. Go ahead, Ron.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Ronald Austin Jr. I done grew up around the town for a long time, went to school here, elementary and high school. So pretty much I know a lot of residents here, and I enjoy the town all the time. It's like home to me. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Mr. Kelly. tell us a little bit about your background.
Thank you, Punel. Thank you, the town of Bladensburg. My name is Kelly. I'm originally from Nigeria. I came into the U.S. September 2023, and my wife actually referred me, saw the email, the opening for the town of Bladensburg, the beautification team. So I did apply, and I got in. But since I've been here, the way the town work, they work with love and, with unity. They have this unity, and, when you work in such an environment, you grow, and I'm learning a lot here. So I want to thank the town of Bladensburg for giving me this opportunity to be here. Thank you all.
That concludes our recommendation.
Thank you so much. And again, we appreciate all your hard work. We were gushing over you guys in the work session. So again, just to reinforce what was said there, thank you for making the community look better. Thank you for making it feel better. Thank you for working in the cold, the rain, and the extreme summer heat, and still making this town look like your home. We appreciate it. And we appreciate everything that you guys do. We know we don't say it enough, but we really value all your hard work. Yes. And this town wouldn't be what it is without public work. So again, thank you all so much.
And the other thing is that we live in town, so we get to see it every day, the great works. The great works from our Public Works Department and our Police Department.
All right. So we'll continue on with the agenda, moving through, that takes us through the presentations for tonight. Next, we'll move into public comment. And first, we'll begin with Ms. Lois Kinkle.
Okay, Mayor, Town Council, I'm Lois Kinkle. I'm a resident of Tilden Road in Bladensburg. I had the opportunity to attend a session run by a newly minted organization called the Prince George's County Village Connection. And what they're about is establishing in different communities around our county now something known as a village. Now, we're a town, but within our town perhaps, or joining with some other entities around us, we might consider having what they propose us do, which is to create a village. Villages are not buildings or retirement communities. They are locally formed grassroots organizations where neighbors help neighbors age in the community they know and love. They provide activities, companionship, practical support, and volunteer opportunities. How are villages formed? They are built by the communities they serve. They may have support from a municipality, a civic organization, a faith community, but they come together to understand and meet the specific needs of older adults in that community. Each village will be unique. It offers supports and activities. They match with what its community needs and what its volunteers can provide. This typically includes social and educational activities, local transportation, support with some home and yard tasks, support in identifying services and resources. Volunteers come from the community itself, or if they can be vetted, from the areas around the village. Now, there are 5 existing villages already in Prince George's County. I can name them for you if you want. But there are many more in Montgomery County, Howard County, and the District of Columbia. PG, I know we're not supposed to say that, but we're really behind in this village concept. Councilmember Blount was at the same meeting I was. Maybe some other Bladensburgers attended some of the other meetings that were in different areas. I don't know. I went to the one in Riverdale. But I'm one person. She's one person, although she's got many more contacts than I. But I would really fell in love with this concept before I knew anything specific about it. I'm 82. I want to stay in my home. I want to stay in Bladensburg. My husband did until he died. It's my turn. But I would need the village. So I'm reaching out to other people that may feel the same way I do, to let me know, to let a council person know that this idea is something that would appeal to you. Maybe we can have an organizational meeting or something to get it started. It needs real concrete things like flyers to go out, and that costs money I don't have. But I'm asking the town council to think about this now, talk to other communities and villages that exist already. This organization, which says we don't have to start from scratch because they now have experience doing this. So let's tap into these people and let's see if we can get it going here. Thank you very much for listening to my plea.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kinkle, for bringing that recommendation to us. I know on different occasions, Layla Riazi has reached out about that too. So I feel like this is our time to make something happen on behalf of our residents. And what I appreciate too is in talking to Councilmember Blunt and Ms. Kinkle prior to this meeting is understanding it doesn't have to just be for the seniors who are in the houses. We can also incorporate some of our seniors who are in the multifamily communities, and that's not just the senior apartments, that's the Phoenix, Gateway, all the other apartment complexes that we have to create our own village. And I appreciate it too, just learning it doesn't have to be one cookie cutter mold. We can develop this based off the needs of our residents. So look forward to talking with both of you more and taking advantage of that free consultation to have them help us get this off the ground. We don't need to waste time reinventing the wheel. If someone has the model out there, we can just learn from them and fast track our efforts for our residents. So I definitely look forward to that. And thank you again, Ms. Kinkle, for bringing it up, and for the No Mo April. We gave you a huge shout out when we announced that last month, but you weren't here with us. So thank you for that idea as well. We really appreciate your engagement. Miss Renee Green is on the line, and I apologize. I missed her under the presentations. I think she had a patriotic committee presentation that she wanted to give to the community. Hi, Miss Green.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor James and Town Council and staff. And it was really nice to see that we're, appreciating the police and the public works. And we really appreciate them, and not just every day, but also when they help out with the patriotic ceremony. So it's very helpful, and I'm glad to see that they're recognized for all that they do. Coming up this month is Memorial Day. It's Monday, May 27th, and we'll have the ceremony at 11 o'clock at the Memorial Park. And I will need to get the $100 check for the American Legion, so I'll be there on Friday, so I can pick that up if that's possible. And then the Bladensburg Fireworks Independence Day celebration is on Friday, July 5th from 6 to 9:30. And then the 210th anniversary of the Battle of Bladensburg ceremony will be on Saturday, August 26th at 11 o'clock at the Battle of Bladensburg Memorial. So that is the three things that I wanted to address this evening. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you for those updates, Ms. Green, and for all you do to help keep our patriotic committee moving forward with our celebrations in town. So that completes the presentations for real this time. And so now, looking at item number 8, we don't have any items under unfinished business, so we'll proceed on to financial business and turn it over to the town treasurer for the update on the FY 2025 budget.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and we talked about this at the work session, so I will be brief. I can't see the screen. Get that on the slideshow. Okay, so we've had a couple budget sessions, and we have an upcoming one on May 20th. One second here. Thank you. Okay, sorry. I have too many screens open. Okay. Some of the major topics are going to be the use of the remaining ARPA funds. We estimate about roughly $250,000 that's going to be pushed forward to FY '25. We also talked about some additional budget items, which included additional funding for community events and looking at a Boys and Girls Club to oversee a youth sports program and to extend the food assistance program through ARPA. We talked about possibly proposed tax increases on business personal property tax, and that would be for railroad and public utilities. And we're also kicking around the idea about increasing the taxes for the multifamily residential units, which are the apartments in town. Capital projects, we have $2.2 million that we're looking at to expend FY '25, and this includes the $1 million federal earmark towards a trade school, and also we have about $1.2 million of state bond bill money that we anticipate to use next year for Boswick and also for the construction of new town hall. And we're looking at transferring up to 6% from the fund balance to balance the budget. We've had that in the budget every year, but we have not had to use it in the last few years. And this is just a quick graph. I heard in work session, that we're providing more services. If you look between FY '18 and what we're looking at in FY '25, our budget is almost doubled, and that is providing twice as amount of services to the town, because 86% of our budget funds services through public works and public safety. And we have some other needs here. We're looking at a vehicle equipment replacement fund to keep our fleets updated. We need additional space for our public safety department as it expands, and we have a fixed space here in Town Hall, which is why we're looking at constructing a new Town Hall, among other things. Public Works Director has been on and off the budget for the past few years, at least the last 5 years. And also the remaining ARPA funds. And what we discussed also is we're going to have a meeting on May 20th, which is next Monday. And if we want to start talking about changing any tax rates, we need to do a constant yield hearing. And in order to advertise it in time, we would most likely have that at the June 10th Mayor and Council meeting when we do the second read of the budget. And that's about it right now. And I just want to say a big thanks to the Public Works Department too. I mean, these guys, how many miles of streets are in town roughly? Miles and miles of streets in town that they take care of.
Yeah, we do probably, curb wise and other stuff like that. You probably paint about 3 miles of curb.
And take care of like curb to curb and, the asphalt and everything, and also the playgrounds and the general grounds, and a big part of it too is the building upkeep. I mean, we have very old buildings here, and it's a full-time job almost, just keeping up with all the needs of these older buildings.
To that point, Mr. Tonelli, there was a big project I saw going on today in the park, just as an example of the service Public Works provide. Mr. Hall, do you want to mention that?
Well, I mean, yes, Mayor, I can. As we've been talking about, curb appeal. So now we've been working to try to get the park updated a little bit. You know, the park is fairly new, but some of our structure around the park, such as the fence and other things, you'll also have some roots coming from trees that's trying to deteriorate our walk path and the soft cushion. I forgot what it's called. But right now we have guys out there that's painting it, scraping it and painting it and getting ready to put another coat on it so the fence will look, it's not going to be brand new, okay? It's an aged fence, but it's going to look a whole lot better than what it did, you know? So that's what we got going on right back here in the park. And also all these guys right here that we just mentioned, that just talked to y'all a little bit, and they've been putting out all our beautiful flowers around the town, as Mayor said, and all the mulch around the town. And some of that stuff may look easy, but it's not. It takes a little bit of time and a whole lot of effort with everybody. You know, like today we had all hands on 8 guys out there putting mulch and doing everything out today. So it's a collaboration with you know, all of us. It's not just like a set of duels that go out and do this, do that. Some of them you can, some job sites you can, but some of them it takes all hands on.
Correct. And
We
then
also take
I
care of
didn't
the
even
graveyard,
mention.
too, and-
That's right, the graveyard maintenance over at Evergreen Cemetery, plus the signage, the newly installed signage that was put out. So, I mean, these resources that are in these line items are funding all these projects that Public Works is taking care of. So, again, just to Mr. Tonelli's point, that 86% of the budget that goes towards services, these are the things that we're talking about when we talk about those line items. So thank you for the overview.
Thank you.
And that's all I have, and I'll defer the rest to the May 20th budget work session, which I hope everybody will pack the room for as usual, so.
Standing room only.
Exactly.
Yes.
Get here early.
That's right. Well, thank you for the review of the FY 2025 budget. I know we did go into it a little bit more in the work session. For residents who missed it, please go back and view that recording when you can. Now we'll move on to new business for the approval of a sample agreement and application process for the 5G small cell towers. And specifically, we need to approve what the template for the agreement, the template for the application, because we have a vendor who is interested in submitting an application at this time. So Town Administrator, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Council. Yes, this is just the approval of the sample agreement and application process so that we can take formal applications from companies, and the example is Crown Castle, who has come to the town in regards to 4 locations. Mr. Reinhardt is handling the application process, but we want to make sure that the Town Council approves the sample application and the sample agreement, and that's what this does. This has been approved by both Crown Castle from the agreement standpoint, so it would be ready to go from that standpoint, and it's also been approved and recommended by the town attorney, who was available at the earlier session. I'm here for any other questions you may have.
Are there any questions or comments from the council? Councilmember Dixon?
Thank you, Mayor James. I have a question, Michelle. Are they still online though?
No, they are not online, but I can answer your questions in regards to the agreement if you have them, or anything about, and we do have a presentation from Crown Castle. They're not online, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Are there any potential challenges or obstacles that would affect the timeline for implementing this pilot program for the upcoming 2025?
So it wouldn't be a pilot. This would be the actual right-of-way agreement that we use for any vendors, Crown Castle or otherwise, that would come and apply to put up the small cell towers in the community. And then similarly, with the application, it would just be, this is our standard application. So if someone comes to Mr. Reinhardt and says, I want to, put in this infrastructure in your town, it would be that standard application form that they would use, just so we aren't asking certain questions of one vendor and not asking the same questions of another vendor. It protects the town to just have a consistent template application and the licensing agreement. Does that help, council member?
Yeah, actually, I think I was asking the question in regards to the flooding.
Oh, no worries, no
I'm
worries.
sorry, that was for
It's
the
okay.
flooding.
We're gonna come to
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, I'm
See,
so
you're
sorry.
already thinking about it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. So, Councilmember Brown?
Again, just one quick thing. Can we just briefly talk to, and during our work session when they talked about the areas within the town. So I think there are like only 3 areas.
Yes, ma'am. I'll
Mr.
have
Shaw.
Mr. Reinhardt provide
Okay.
those areas for you.
Yes, ma'am. Just let the residents know that weren't here for the work session. There are 7 proposed sites in the 20710 zip code, but actually only 4 of them fall inside the incorporated area of the town of Bladensburg, with one of those areas being on Prince George's County property. And those site locations are the 5400 block of Varnum Street, which the property belongs to Prince George's County, 55th Avenue in the area of Taussig Road, the 4200 block of 54th Street, and the 4200 block of 53rd Place.
Thank you, Officer Reinhardt. Any other questions or comments, Councilmember Brown?
Is there a proposed timeline? That's what Councilmember Dixon wants to know. Is there a proposed timeline for this process?
So once the town, once we do approve the application, we then have a certain amount of time that after they submit the application to act on the application. So I would say probably the end of the summer. I mean, if everything is completed, but the town will have the opportunity to evaluate that. And the other issue that was brought up by Attorney Ferguson was that we may have an engineer to look at those, and that might be the additional, and which is what we were looking at before with CTC, which was the other company, that we may have another company to work as the town engineer, so this does not have to go through Mr. Reinhardt completely. So there is a process, and there's certain things, and DPI also is an approval process, has approval for the county, if that helps.
So I think to that point, though, what would be helpful after tonight's meeting is if we could just get sort of a schedule of the workflow for this so that council understands what's in an application is received, because it is very tight in terms of the legal requirements, and we can get into issues with the county if we don't abide by those timelines. So just so we can be cognizant that an application is received, it has this many days to get a response and this many days for approval, I think it would help all of us. And also because it's been a while since we've touched on this, and it's just now coming back up. And then I also appreciate the point you made from the conversation with our attorney, because personally, I just would feel more comfortable having that third-party engineer reviewing these, because I wouldn't want someone to slide something in that we don't catch, and then we end up with this very obtrusive infrastructure, the pole, the box itself, next to your place, or, just where one of our residents lives. We want to do our best just to try to avoid that if at all possible. And so with that, are there any other comments or questions? Okay, so in terms of the approval, can we do them together, or do we need votes on second together? Okay, so with that, is there a motion to approve the agreement for the right-of-way license agreement, and then also the application for the 5G small cell towers?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember McBride. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any other comments or questions that we didn't cover? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. All right, so both the right-of-way license agreement is approved and the application, so that process can begin moving forward. And now for the item that Councilmember Dixon is ready to dive into, the MOU for flood mitigation. And so, again, this is a project that we've been discussing for the last year. about how we address flooding mitigation along the Edmonston Channel and the Quincy Run channels. And many of us who lived in town saw the devastation September 12, 2020. And we're doing our very best to prevent that situation from happening. As was said in the work session presentation, this is not going to stop flooding 100%, but the goal is to greatly mitigate the flooding to our residents, whether it's in homes or to the businesses that are impacted by urban flooding, which continues to get worse year over year. And I know for a fact NOAA is even redoing their criteria for the 1 in 100 flood years, because they're not happening 1 in 100 years. Now they're coming more frequently, so now they have to reassess how they determine those storms. So again, it is moving on pretty quickly. So I'll call for a motion and then a second and put this on the floor. And then if there's any comments or questions, we'll just take them during the discussion of the motion. So with that, I'll call for a motion to approve the MOU for flood mitigation pilot program with Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any further comments or discussion or questions regarding the project? I'm looking to my neighbor.
Mayor, just
Yes.
for your motion, can you also move about the funding amount, please?
So we voted on that previously.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. We just want to make sure that because the part of the agreement is the 500K, and I just want to make sure
Correct.
that's in your motion, just to make sure.
Yes, because I know we voted to approve that.
Yeah.
And the council voted unanimously to approve and use the 500K for the flood mitigation. And that goes to the environmental and engineering design. The other 1.5 million for that cost will be covered by Prince George's County. And then the balance of the $11 million, as noted in the MOU, will be secured by Prince George's County. And the way that they're looking to offset that is through funding from the state, through the state's revolving fund. So basically, the state of Maryland has funding available for environmental justice communities with high scores, and so we qualify for that based on our demographics. And so the state would basically loan them the money and then approve it on the back end. So that's how the $13 million project would be funded, again, with the town putting in $500,000. Okay. Councilmember Dixon, did you want us to come back? You had the question. Yes, I don't want to miss that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you asked if whether this was a pilot program, ma'am. That was what your question was, the gist of it. But I want to make sure I'm covering the exact question.
Thank you. So my question was, are there any potential challenges or obstacles that would affect the timeline for implementing the pilot program for the 2025, and what contingency plan are in place to address them?
So they're working with the Clean Water Partnership, who's very experienced at the financing portion of this. And actually, from talking with our other consultants, Low Impact Design, I believe we're actually going to be, and they're going to be also helping in regards to the overall timeline by applying for more grant funding and trying to get this done. So there's going to actually be a coalition of teams working on this project. The other issue that I think that what they're asking from the town is for our support as they go to stakeholders and ask for funding. So we're also going to be a part of that to try to keep this going. But as far as this pilot goes, I believe it should be on time because they have already started, which I want to make sure that we also note that in May, the county is sending out the letters for the right of entry so that they can start the surveying process, which is what Mary Roman mentioned. And that process is actually occurring now. So they're keeping on their timelines of getting this done so that they can move into the right time for the funding, because most of the funding is based on being shovel ready. So that's why it's so important for them to have this timing right so that they can say, here's the engineering for the project and it can go. So that's the reason why they're keeping on the strict timeline too, ma'am.
Does that help, Councilmember Dixon?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Very good. Any other questions before we call for the vote? All right, so all in favor? Oh, sorry.
No. And if we can just touch back, because I think it's just good for the residents who weren't able to join during our work session, talking about the maintenance piece of it. And yes.
Sure.
Expand on just a little bit on that.
Yeah, sure, Councilwoman. So as part of the agreement, we have asked for the county to maintain the flood channel as they are now. And we have a 30-year agreement, which they're working with Clean Water Partnership as the partner on it. The one thing I didn't get to mention in the preamble when we were talking to the county is that Joanna Smith has been a really excellent partner since she's come to Public Works, because every time, just in my short time and her short tenure, is that every time we do have one of these flooding incidents, we call each other, and she does have her crews come out here to check our things because of our incidents with that area and with the areas in general. So I would say that our responsiveness from the county has been improved greatly in the last two incidents that we've had, these really tough rains. And she's been really good about that. So that's the reason why in that agreement, both Attorney Ferguson and myself asked for that maintenance to continue to be the county versus it being the towns. So I hope that helps.
Thank you for that. And I want to echo that too, because even in the last couple, I would say 2 to 3 flood events, Director Johnson has also reached out. So I know Ms. Smith is contacting you, but he still follows up just to make sure that we have the resources that we need to mitigate that. And that relationship has truly improved over the last year. And so what better time to leverage that and get this project done? I mean, a $13 million infrastructure improvement to our town is significant. That's larger than our annual budget for this project, and we're going to see huge differences in the flooding situations, greatly being diminished compared to what we had to experience when those of us were out there, Mr. Reinhardt, Mr. Tonelli, the chief and others, Public Works, walking through people's homes after that level of devastation. I mean, it was unprecedented, absolutely unprecedented, and we want to do our best to just help our community make sure we don't have that happen to us again. Councilmember Dixon, you had a comment or question?
So I want to ask Michelle, how are they going to be tracking? Is there a checkpoint for tracking the progress?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because from the standpoint of the reason why Clean Water Partnership has actually been brought in with Public Works is that they actually have some really good metrics in regards to tracking, the use, the project itself, and then the types of flood events that they're actually going for. And so when what Ms. Roman was talking about with that overall flood types and what we can expect, which is what part of the pilot is to develop, like, if it's a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 30 year, they're actually going to look at those numbers, talk about how much that look at the different engineering costs on how much that costs, and put together scenarios for the town and for the project overall to kind of deal with that. So there are going to be lots of different metrics, but I think that one is probably the one that the town probably wants to look at the most, is that the type of flooding that this is going to be built for is very significant. Coming from Las Vegas, we always built for 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 year floods, because I don't know if you ever, the desert, when you get rain, it's awful. So you have to build for those kind of levels because of the way that the flooding goes. So here we're building for 1 in 10, which is, that's what we were initially looking at, but they're going to be looking at some different metrics, Councilwoman, so they can because we're getting those increasingly tough storms all over the country. So those are one of the things that they're going to be looking at, but that team is really in charge of kind of looking at those metrics, and that's why they're bringing in a third party to work with them.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And so with that, if there are no other comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. And so we can get that agreement signed back over to them finally to stay on track with this project. So thank you for all the work in moving this forward, Town Administrator, and working with Ms. Smith. I know it's been a lot of back and forth. And so we'll move right on, just noting the time, coming up on 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So we have updates on Boswick House and the TAP, so we'll turn it over to the Town Administrator.
I'm going to make these quick, but I think they're really important because we really haven't had a chance to go through what the technical advisory panel for the Urban Land Institute came back to the council. I know that many of you were here. I'm going to try to share this, Rick, so that people can see it off my computer. So I will do this very quickly, but I'm going to also speak while I do it, so it's not as much of a lag. So Bostwick, on April 18th and 19th, the ULI team was here at the Bostwick House and in town. They went through the TAP process, which is a technical assistance process. That team went through and they looked at the Bostwick House in a couple different ways. I'm going to kind of go through this very quickly, but what is the TAP? There's a group of volunteers and they're local experts in real estate, in planning, in banking. We had people from all over the community come out. In day one, they went out and they started the interviews with the stakeholders, and then day two, they developed some really clear stakeholder recommendations for us. So, again, what we paid for it was $25,000, but there's not just that 2-day process, which was, there's a very detailed report that will be out in June. The cycle, again, is the questions, the TAP convenes, and then they come back and they start to do it. This is our TAP. It's a diverse group of professionals that work right here in the area. And they were very helpful. Again, as I mentioned, we've got people from Maryland Parks and Planning, we've got architects, we've got people that have worked for, that work in property development, and we've got ULI staff. So what they did is they looked at the Bostwick property, and this is a very small map, but everybody kind of knows what Zone 2 is, which is this red, which is the house itself. 1 is the front lawn. Zone 7 is the area that's right adjacent to the property, and then the others are the outlying areas. What they were asked to do was look at the economic viability and reuse strategy of the site. They were also asked to look at the historical relevance. They looked at connections to the site, and then financial incentives to have people to help to develop the site. We had a ton of stakeholders, which is what this page shows, the community members and people from different types of government that also came out. These are some pictures of the people at the site, and we had council members here too. And if you guys can all recognize yourself, you can say hello. And then what we heard was that to embrace embrace the living history of it, Bladensburg's story that's never been told, that it's a nurturing place, to activate the whole site and to have it as a destination and not just a pass-through. I'm just going to recap some of those. So the vision that they came up with was that looking at reclaiming Bladensburg is the theme that they looked at. And then looking at it, and I thought this is one of the architects painted this picture the day of, which I thought was amazing that he turned it around so quickly. It's connecting from the outside in and then creating new residential and creating a town center at the site. Again, what they did is they looked at a radius of Bostwick. They looked at I think that's a less than a 2-mile radius. I just want to make sure that I'm getting that right, but less than a 2-3 mile radius from the site, Bostwick being right here, and then everything around it. And in that site, you can see the town hall is pretty close to that. They looked at the waterfront. They looked at how that interacts with the Peace Cross, the library, and Bladensburg Elementary, which are all neighbors to the site, and looking at ties to those assets. They also looked at some of the major roadways, like the pedestrian crossing at the CSX Railroad and Kenilworth Avenue. They wanted to enhance the pedestrian experience, so that's all here. Working with Maryland State Highway, who we had as a partner. Looking at how to make this better for pedestrians to get to Bostwick, so crossing the street at the existing intersections. And then looking at the railroad tunnels, because those are right now kind of underutilized, and these are some examples of urban artscape that could exist in our area, which are I thought those were really nice ideas, and I've seen where these have happened, and they look great. Looking at mid-block crossings or pedestrian safety at grades so that people can have better, safer crossings, and that's something that we've been working on in regards to Annapolis Road for a while. Wayfinding, branding the district with something that shows like this whole area the historic district even. And then their approach. So this is the I wanted to look at, is that placemaking Bladensburg as a destination. And so when you're looking at this, we look at Boswick. What they were asked about was the economic viability of the site and looking at attracting new developers. So what they had, when they looked at the site, they saw that there was an opportunity here at Town Hall, and the Town Hall site could be used to leverage as a site with Boswick House. So they put a red, so that pink square is the Town Hall, parcel 4 is the adjacent one, which we already own, and the green site is the Boswick grounds, and the blue site is the Boswick buildings. So that's one of their concepts, is to create new residential where we already are at Town Hall. That's one of the concept sites that they have, and they're going to go into more depth in that. They gave some prescient images of what the townhouses would look like there. And then, but looking at the Boswick development itself, they looked at the fact that they looked at the site, and they had some ideas of looking at the site. So they see the site, the main site, as the event zone, which is that main lawn area. They looked at a development zone as right next to it, which is the area that is wooded currently, and there's a steep drop. And then they looked at the second event zone as being the back hill behind Boswick. And then they also show the various outbuildings as future development areas. So on the development plan that they showed some development of a town hall and units on the site that's adjacent to Boswick as an opportunity. They looked at the event zone as itself, the 2 event zones, and then the other zones of the house and the artisan zones. So they gave us some recommended phasing, which they'll go into more detail in their final report. But that would include renovate, their theme is activate, renovate, connect, friend raising for Boswick. So developing our networks of friends and funding opportunities. So site 1, which is something that I've already started to apply for, which is the idea of getting compostable toilets so that you can actually have events there on that front lawn. It's nothing, but it sounds like a big deal, but it's something that probably needs to be for accessibility. We have 1 toilet on the whole site, so we really couldn't do that without portable potties. So that is looking for grant funding for something like that. And USDA is usually a good choice because we are a small town and there's small community grants or small community dollars for that. That, again, is part of the 2 to 3 year funding cycle, and they were they mentioned that. And then programming, if you have those toilets, you can start doing regular programming, like a movie at Boswick, a harvest festival, Founders Day, and opening the site, the outside of the site with wayfinding to the public. Again, those are activating the grounds and helping with UMD, who already has an active thing there, to continue to help with research on the enslaved and population there, because there's so much focus right now on the owners, but not on the people that actually lived and worked the area. Again, this is the same thing about the programming. Those site improvements would be, again, looking at the terraces and looking at the off-site parking and things like that in future years. This whole idea of the activity zone, allowing, developing it for the outside public programming. The further things along would be site improvements to the barns and stables. I don't want to go too much into this because this is still preliminary, but I wanted to just try to give an overview of the slides so that to give context to what was presented the day of. And then, working on the main house site, which is something that we're working in stabilization. So as a update for what we're currently doing, because we have the money from the bond bill that's already been designated for stabilization, those bids are actually going out in the next day or two. Actually, I just looked at a draft from our architect that we've been working with to replace windows, to do the back chimney. I want to make sure I say that, Councilwoman, because I know I don't want to get that question. The back chimney is on that, and also to work on some of the other foundational issues of the thing with the first set of money that we have. So those stabilization projects will exist, and they were told to the group, and they're going to continue to move forward. So that's what we've got there. So I just wanted to just to bring this to your attention, and just to kind of give the council, it's been included in here, the whole thing. I think that they provided some really good opportunity. They kind of thought out of the box in regards to it. We don't have to take everything, but at the same time, I think the one thing that they did open up was the parcel 4, which is what we have. We did not have anything that actually looked at parcel 4 as a separate parcel, and that's what we actually asked them to give us ideas for, because there's a lot of covenants on the site itself, and parcel 4, we believe, should not necessarily be under those same covenants. And so we've done a lot of work working with the stakeholders and some of the historic preservationists in regards to parcel 4. So that's what that is and so that's a big part of their recommendation. So regardless what's done with it, parcel 4 is a big victory. So that's what I've got for that one, Mayor, Council. I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you for the overview, and I really look forward to the final report and inviting them back to discuss that with the council and just identify our next steps moving that project forward. But I really appreciate all the community members and the staff who participated in that process. It was a 2-day event stemming on the Wednesday was their site visit as a group, and then the community stakeholder piece where we were interviewed and asked questions as we were broken up to 4 groups, so that they could really dig into the community feedback about the future reuse opportunity. So again, it's a start. It's not to say that we have to implement all of it, but the whole point of them was compiling all this research, giving it a fresh look with a broad range of experts that saved us a ton of money, because independently hiring the engineers, the architects, the historical preservationists, we would have paid well over the $25K. So appreciate that. Any comments or questions from the council before we move forward? All right, so we'll jump right over to America.
Just real quick. So, as this is, I guess, it's a whole lot to take in. So, but we're doing first of all, because in terms of the historic preservation of the site, that's one thing. But then also looking at the stabilization of the site, period. And then then you talked about putting the bathrooms or the porter johns or whatever there. So that's what the first segment phase of this is. Correct.
Councilwoman, yes,
With the
currently
funding that
we
we
have
have, right.
we have $1.5 million in stabilization projects
Right.
that we've already outlined with our current, and so we have funding for 500,000.
Right. For the
And
Boswick
so,
House.
yeah, for Boswick House.
Exactly.
So the first amounts will go to that stabilization and engineering for stabilization. And then any other grants would be to support, as the council deems it, for some of these priorities. I think the reason why I wanted to let the council know, and I think I sent it in a memo earlier, was that that just happened to be some park planning kind of money for something like this. So I tried to match it because this came off the presses, so that I wanted to make sure we could match it, because it takes several months to get back answers. So yes.
Thank you for that. And we'll move forward with America in Bloom, Town Administrator, for that informational overview.
Sure. Mayor, Council, so America in Bloom is a process. Actually, I have to thank Mr. Rod Barnes, the manager for Evanston, for getting me into this. Rod is a longtime America in Bloom member and a recipient of, I guess he's actually the president now, but he's also the grant, Edmonston has been recognized many times for being an American Bloom community. So he actually asked myself and Greg Holcomb with Comar Manor to also join him this year in this. We've been putting together a presentation, and thanks so much for the hard work of Purnell and his team, to be honest with you, for keeping me through this. I keep on coming up with ideas, and they keep on making my ideas come to life. So thank you guys for all the work you've been doing. we've been working through a lot of things to just try to improve the curb appeal and the beauty of the town. The sign that's across from me, and I don't know if we can get this on the or on the screen, but we are now an America in Bloom community, and that'll be a sign that we'll be able to put up around near one of our entrances. But the whole thing about America in Bloom is not just the flowers or all that kind of curb appeal. It's also taking recommendations from other professionals and growing from them. So they'll take an evaluation over 2 days, June 2nd through 4th, and thank you. There's the thing from June 2nd to 4th. Throughout the town, they'll get to know our culture. It's not just about flowers; it's about what's going on in your town. So they'll get to learn about Bostwick House. They'll get to learn about the waterfront. They're actually going to go on a boat ride in the Anacostia with Anacostia Watershed. And I'm inviting the council if you'd like to go. They'll have dinner with us a couple of nights. Actually, Mango Cafe is going to be catering one of the evenings so that they can try food from our area, because that's what it's about. It's not about, every town USA. It's about your town and what makes Bladensburg different. And I think the one good thing about this process and what it's teaching me is all the great foundational things that we have in Bladensburg. Because I was like, oh, we're such a small town. How are they going to do all this stuff? I mean, they're going to be done in like 20 minutes. They're like, no. We want to kind of go through everything with you. We'd love to see the library for a half a day. We'd love to spend because what they do is they make recommendations to the town on ways that we can improve things or ways that other towns have done things. So it's an iterative process where they will kind of look at different things. We're going to meet with Eco Farms. We're going to go out to their farm. We're going to go into their classroom. We'll be out at Bostwick for half a day. We'll be at the library for a couple hours. We'll be at the waterfront park. Fire chief and police chief will be talking about public safety for a couple hours. They'll go on ride-alongs. There's great things. I'll meet with you in the council. So everyone will have an opportunity, but I also wanted to integrate you guys in a way that maybe you haven't been on the Anacostia boat ride before, and you might want to try it, because those will be opportunities. Maybe you haven't eaten dinner at Bostwick, but we're going to have a campsite, a fireside dinner at Bostwick on the porch. So you'll have opportunities to actually see the town in different ways and have conversations with people that you haven't had. So that's what it is, and I just wanted to introduce it to the council. We'll be working hard on it. Ray's been working hard on some stuff to make it exciting, and we're trying to make this as exciting as possible. I just thought it was going to be hard, which it's been easier once I talk to people.
Yeah, Councilmember McBride had a comment.
Town Administrator, I'm grateful that I can see the America in Bloom. Truly, that's a passion of mine, so I really wanted to see this come to light.
Yep, we definitely appreciate the work on this, and also note the port towns. I think 3 out of the 4 of us are now participating in this, so we are trying to make it not just a Bladensburg thing, but learning from Edmiston and getting it to the point where each of the port towns are participating. So look forward to those upcoming events and opportunities to engage with the strategic partners there. So we have come to the end of new business, and we'll transition over to staff reports, beginning with Town Administrator Tonelli, who wants to say more about the budget.
Well, do you want to go into staff reports or in the, for time, I can, my report's online.
Okay.
It's been distributed to the mayor and council. If you have any questions, please let me know, or the public has any questions. It's on our website. And we are 10 months into the fiscal year, and now these are the busy months, May and June, closing it out.
And now you're allowing us to make capital purchases. You feel comfortable enough. All right, sort of. We'll move over to Public Safety Deputy Chief Dickerson.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. As previously mentioned, this week we are recognizing National Police Week. It's an annual event that recognizes the contributions and sacrifices of law enforcement all across the country. And so there are various events that are planned throughout the week. Chief Collington, our chief, attended an event at the White House for police leaders today, an event that's commemorating the beginning of National Police Officers Week. So we have several other events going on throughout the week where our officers and the command staff will be attending. For instance, on Wednesday, May 15th, we will be going into Washington, D.C. for the National Peace Officers Memorial Service, where we'll be recognizing all of the officers that made the ultimate sacrifice. So that's all I have, and thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the department for all you do to continue to serve the community. Thank you for Coffee with a Cop last month. I know residents enjoyed that opportunity to come out and connect. And next up, we'll have code enforcement.
I'm going to forego my report, but I just want to wish all the mothers out there a happy belated Mother's Day. And also with Public Works, you know, I work with these guys hand in hand every day, and they are a great group of guys that are out there every day trying to make the town a much better place.
Thank you for that, Officer Reinhardt, and thank you for your participation too in the Green Up Cleanup / Growing Green with Pride in partnership with the Green Team. Really appreciate the support of your team. We will move on to Public Works. Mr. Hall.
I just have a few little highlights that I want to touch upon. We talked about a lot of things that we was doing, you know, trying to beautify the town and gateway signs, but we have installed about 18 LED flashing lights, stop sign, and pedestrian signs throughout the community, and certain places was picked due to the high traffic. You know, we didn't just go ahead, we want to put them all up here, all up here, all up here. We had traffic officer Harris was assigned to the locations, and Public Works installed them. So I mean, they're looking pretty good. I think we have a few more that we will put up. I know Newton Street hasn't got it yet for the crosswalk, but this week, hopefully we have 2 of them installed up there. We've been talking about it, so we were just trying to find a location for the last 2 that we have, right? I mean, that we have on hand. You know, we probably in future we will be, I'm quite sure, you know, purchasing a few more.
But they are wonderful. The ones that have been erected look fantastic, and I know, especially on the high traffic areas, for example, 57th Avenue, with all the students who walk that way, catching the bus to and from school, walking to the high school and so forth, those are going to make a huge difference. So thank you and the team for putting those in, installing those, I should say. All right, so next we will move over to Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth.
Mayor, Council, I did submit I submitted a written report, but I just wanted again to thank the police department for all their work and Chief Collington for his leadership. Just in general, I mean, anytime where there is an incident, he is so responsive to both myself and the council and provides us information and is always there in town and is always out on our behalf in the community and in the national spotlight, including today. So I didn't want to be remiss about talking about how valuable he is as an asset to the organization. And I do appreciate everything that he does and his team. I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that, you know, his team has worked, they're working hard in our community services, and they're out there as frontline with our teens and creating events that people really want to come to and are engaged in. And I mean, I love coming here on Monday nights when it's not a council night to see the cadets here. And they really make me happy when I see them here working, because they're out there doing their sit-ups and push-ups and like little militaristic stuff. But I mean, they're good kids. So I just wanted to thank the police department because they do bring out a diverse group of students that really do support this community. I can't say enough about my Public Works department. So I just want to make sure that I again thank them for coming out and actually sitting through this meeting and listening to all of my talking today, even though they listen to me talk a lot. So I appreciate them in general and all the work they do. And throughout this month, we'll be recognizing these employees and showing them how much we're grateful for their work. So that's all I have to share today. And again, thank you for trusting me to work in this town.
Thank you, Town Administrator. So we'll jump right into Mayor and Council reports, beginning with Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to say, well, hello to everyone tuning in, and thank you to our town staff, the police department, public works. I mean, you all just continue to echo what has already been said. You all continue to do a great job. And as I said, we live here in the town of Bladensburg, so we get to live it, feel it, and see it every day. I'm going to make it real brief. Happy belated Mother's Day to all mothers. I attended quite a few town events. Also, we did have our public safety meeting. The public safety meeting, it went pretty well, and I want to thank Police Chief Collington as well for presenting a lot around the public safety for us. And we're going to continue our meetings, but there'll be more just community focused, so that there'll be community meetings so people can come out, not just thinking it's just public safety, but just a community meeting to let's talk and listen to what you all may have to say, especially for people who are not able to tune in or who are at work on Mondays, and you're able to come and join us on a Saturday. So we will continue that. And one other thing, the bike rodeo. The bike rodeo, I wanted to, but I don't own a bicycle, so I was not able to participate in the bike rodeo. But I know it was a great event. And Mr. Sean, I will have a bike for the next one. Yay! Also, with the beautification signs, I mean, that has just been a long time coming, years and years and years. I mean, been talking about replacing those Town of Bladensburg signs, and that has finally come into fruition. So those signs, just thanks for the great work, and the signs really look good. Also, the Bladensburg Elementary School, I would like to thank for the assistance with being able to move that blighted building that has been a eyesore for many years as well. So staff and Mr. Sean Dronhart, thank you also for helping to make that happen. When we saw the bulldozers out there, they were like, it's gonna happen the next day, and I said, okay, let me see, and it did happen the next day. So talking about safe routes for children, especially that route is highly used by the elementary school students and parents. So we will continue the conversation and some improvements with that area as well. One last thing I do want to mention is that this is mental health wellness month. In the town of Bladensburg, we're sponsoring a film screening and panel discussion on Wednesday, May 29th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Public Playhouse. It's free. It's been sponsored by the town, so I'm just encouraging everyone to come out and let's continue the conversation, and remember that we're supporting mental wellness, and it's okay to not be okay, but to come out is it's going to be a really a great time in the town. So thanks a lot. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next, we'll move to Ward 2 with Councilmember McBride.
Councilmember McBride is going to forego her report right now.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Blunt, also for Ward 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Only have one thing to say, and that's about the village program. I thank her for bringing that to the council, because it seemed like an awesome idea. If anyone out there looking to be a part of the village and learning more about the village, I guess the mayor and council will be bringing more information to you soon. But we do encourage you to get out there and speak and work along with seniors who can no longer do it for themselves, but like to age in place. We really would need some volunteers to help with that. And again, as we learn more and get more information, we will be bringing it to the public, and I'm hoping that you all can step up and work with seniors who really need you at this time.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Blunt. And back to Ward 1 with Councilmember Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor James. Good evening, residents. Good evening, everyone. Happy National Police Week. To all the police officers, chief, and the team, thank you for your dedication, your bravery, and sacrifices that you made for the community. Thank you. So my report is, so I attended to, Coffee with the Cops with our residents. I attended a meeting at the Emerson House with Councilmember McBride, Mayor James, and Chief and Deputy Chief. I actually joined on the state and local officials webinar. I attended the community public safety meeting, and also a press conference for Mrs. Royster, a very unfortunate situation. Meeting with Mayor James and Mr. Bynum, Coach O, regarding our Boys and Girls Club that we're trying to get started for the summer. And also I attended the Boswick House panel discussion, roundtable interview discussion. Councilmember McBride and myself, we attended the Elizabeth Seton High School Young Woman Entrepreneurial Program. And I attended the Bladensburg Visioning discussion on how to make the center more meaningful. Also, I did the bike rodeo. I attended the business roundtable meeting with our mayor and our business owners in our community. I also listening on the town hall budget session with Council Chair Jolene Ivy, fiscal year 25 budget listening session, where they spoke about the county budget and the impact of the state budget. I visited some residents on 56th Avenue, just walking through, just to get to know the residents a little more. But I did have a few complaints as well. I passed those to Michelle. Also, I checked in with some of our local businesses, the barbershop, hair salon. I sat on the CFR webinar they spoke on energy and trade priorities with Governor Kevin Stitty. And also had a tour with Chief at the Bladensburg Elementary School, Councilmember Brown, and myself with Councilmember McBride. Also had a sit-in on CFR webinar where they talked about protecting the U.S. waterways, coastal line maritime. Had another sit-in on the CFR webinar where they spoke about re-imaging American economic leadership. I attended the Bladensburg Employee Fund Day. Councilmember Brown and myself, we did a walkthrough in the park, our park here, and we greeted a few residents that was actually there with their kids. I attended the COG meeting, and I had the opportunity of speaking at the Bladensburg Elementary School at their Mother's Day celebration. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Councilmember. That was a lot. Thank you. So, in wrapping it up, I'll give my brief report, and the written copy will be available online as well, but attended the PGCMA Legislative Committee meetings. I did attend the PGCMA meeting virtually and would ask that we support Councilmember Brown in her bid for treasurer, right, for PGCMA board? Oh, you did? Okay, so for board, okay. So let's support her for that, and do not support me for board. I just, in principle, don't think more than one municipality needs to sit on the board. We have 27, and we need to have more exposure, so just a word there. Some of the things that we tracked in terms of legislation, though, for PGCMA was the juvenile and minor curfew. Just watching that to see if other communities are going to have to impose some juvenile curfews as well. Mainly, we're focusing in and providing input on the one that County Executive Angela Alsobrook put forward for National Harbor. We've heard about some of the incidents out there, and just putting a framework around young people not being there too late in the evenings until 6 a.m. in the morning. I think it's 5 p.m. in the evening until 6 a.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We were also tracking the school pedestrian safety work group that is being organized by council members Fisher, Olson, and Watson. And the purpose is because there's been some tragic events regarding school students, trying to put this working group together to come up with solutions to make the county roads safer for pedestrians, particularly the children, as they're trying to get to and from school. The other thing to note is the late night business bill safety plan, that's CB 016-2024, basically saying if you have nightclubs or night establishments, they need to have a safety plan, because we can't ignore the fact that violent situations are stemming at some of these establishments, and requiring these safety plans as part of their overall permitting. And we did offer some input to the bill, sponsors, just noting you have to note that a 7-Eleven doesn't qualify like a nightclub would, and so you've got to have some exemptions there based on the definition of what that business is. But our input was taken favorably. The other thing that we were tracking is CB 008-2024, which is more commonly known as Rent Stabilization Act, mainly because that was set to expire April 17th, and we heard a lot of residents who were supporting that, and local elected officials as well, with trying to get the rent stabilization passed last year. So it has been extended till October 17th. 2024 to give more time to provide next steps, because one of the things that we did take back to the county council was concern that if you keep this cap that they can't go above 3%, they're going to start penalizing residents by adding on fees, and we've seen that in Bladensburg already, where we can't jack your rent up by 3%, but we can tag on a fee for your water, and there's this other additional fee that you didn't have to pay before, which supersedes the 3% increase that they would have asked for in the first place. So the council is aware of that. And also we're tracking CB 028-2024, which is a cigar lounge bill. I just think it's interesting. I get adults want a place to go and all of that, but as we're talking about clean air and air quality monitoring, that we're putting up establishments where they're not helping their air quality, so to speak. So anyway, we've been continuing to track those bills. I did have the opportunity, thanks to the president of the National Forum for Black Public Administrators, to speak at the Hall of Fame breakfast, and enjoyed hearing from Attorney Benjamin Crump at that and other notable speakers. As I said to Ms. Kinko, I was happy to be a participant in No Mow April, but my husband was happy to be able to mow the grass on May 1st. But I'm happy that we were able to support the pollinators in the month of April. Last but not least, and again, there's more details in here, but just want to note that I appreciate all the business owners who came out for our meeting on April 30th, and I want to thank the council members who were able to participate too. Having those opportunities to hear directly from our business owners what their needs are, and also to provide updates from the town, is very valuable. So really appreciate the staff helping me organize that, and all those who were able to come out and participate. Again, the written report will be available online, but for now, that will conclude my report. And I want to thank everyone for their participation and attention tonight, and call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any further comments or questions?
Yes.
Councilmember Dixon?
So I want to express my condolences to the James family, the loss of our former mayor's dad. So I want to express my condolences and my
Thank you so much.
That's expressed by the whole council.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that very much. For those who aren't aware, we did lose my father-in-law last Tuesday, so appreciate everyone who's reached out, called, texted, put messages on social media. We truly appreciate your kind thoughts and prayers for our family. So with that, I'll call for the vote. All in favor in adjourning, say aye. 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 Any nays? The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you so much.